Hello and welcome to today's episode of Tea Tactics and Tenacity. I am your host, Jenn Herman with Jenn's Trends. I got my teacup because we are tired this morning because it is St. Patrick's Day, which means leprechauns and, all the things and gold and tricks and stuff that were in my house this morning. So my kid woke me up a little earlier than I would have liked to have woken up because she had to tell me that the leprechaun came and that she couldn't find her pot of gold, and then she found the pot of gold, and it was this whole big thing this morning. So I'm a little extra tired this morning. I could have used her at least half an hour of sleep, but kids. So welcome to today's episode, this St. Patrick's Day episode of Tea Tactics and Tenacity. Today we will be talking about how to write a good Instagram bio. This question was submitted by Joyce. For those of you regular viewers, you know that on Tea Tactics and Tenacity every week, we answer a question submitted by a viewer just like you. So people either send me a DM, they comment on posts that I share asking for, what questions you want me to answer, whether it's in my stories, my feed, my Facebook group, whatever it is. And I collect these questions to then answer on upcoming episodes of Tea Tactics and Tenacity. Joyce left a comment letting me know that she's new to Instagram, that she's starting out and she needs to know how to write a good Instagram bio. So I was like, this is a great topic. So we will talk about that today. We're also going to talk about the tenacity side of the show today. We're going to talk about luck because, luck of the Irish and St. Patrick's Day. I figured what better topic than to talk about making luck in your business. So that's what we'll be talking about today. I've got my tea. Hopefully you have yours as well, or your coffee or whatever caffeine you need on this St. Patrick's Day Sunday morning. Thank you to everybody who's hanging out with me here live. And for those of you on the replay, thank you for joining as well. So the question, again, submitted by Joyce was how to optimize or how to write a good Instagram bio. Now, there's a lot of different things that you can put in your bio, but there's a few things you definitely want to make sure you are including in your bio. So primarily when you are writing your bio, it is important that you understand that you are writing this for first-time visitors. Most people, once they are following you, are probably never really going to read your bio again. They may glance at it. They may come over to your profile to either go to the link in bio or to go to your Reels tab or send you a message or something. So it's not that they're not going to come to your profile, but they probably won't really read your bio once they are following you. They already know who you are. They're seeing your content. They know what you create. They know what you're about. So the bio is really going to be that 30-second elevator pitch. This is your first impression. This is your chance to pitch yourself, essentially, to somebody who does not know who you are. Assume that somebody has found you on search, on a recommended post. Somebody shared your content with them via a DM or something like that, or into their story or something, and people are like, oh, who's that? I wonder who they are. They're going to go look at your bio. So we're writing your bio for those first-time visitors. It's to tell them who you are, what you do, and what's in it for them. Those are the three key things that should be in your bio. If you have a one-sentence bio, I'm pretty sure you're not hitting all three of those. And if you are, it's a long sentence. So we want to use all the characters. You have 150 characters. Some people have more. There was like a whole weird test thing, and some people could get more than 150 for a while. But generally, you have 150 characters for your bio. And we want to cover those key three things: who you are, what you do, and what's in it for them. Those are the three important things. We want to put it in a way that is easy to read. So I highly recommend doing like the bullet point format. Don't do a long run-on paragraph. Most people look at those and they immediately just kind of like and glance away. If it's in bullet points, use emojis, something to break up the bullet points. It brings visual attention. It makes people want to look at it more. And you don't have, I had a client of mine, she was a real estate client, and she's like, Jenn, I don't do emojis. I'm not doing it. I don't do cartoons. I don't do emojis. They're not on brand for me. And I'm like, that's okay. what we did is her colors were like orange, black, and like kind of like a silver gray kind of thing. And I was like, we can work with that. There's diamonds, there's triangles, there's circles, there's like those certain emojis that aren't like, you know, a funny face or like a heart or a winky face or a Christmas tree, like, but they have different shapes in different colors. And so we were able to design her bio using the spheres in the different colors that are on brand with her. So it's just a fancy bullet point circle, but it's in her brand colors that brought a little bit of her branding and personality to the bio, but in a way that was still on brand for her without adding the emojis. Like if you go look at my profile, I have the emojis. Like I have a globe, I think I have a microphone, I've got like a little stack of books. So I have the emoji that represent what each of those bullet points are about. That works for me. It works for my audience. I'm okay with that. She wasn't okay with that, but we found a way to make it work. So you want to look at ways that you can break out those bullet points and draw attention to them with those emojis so that people are more likely to read it rather than just looking at that big block of text and not reading it. We want them to read your bio to figure out who you are, what you do, and what's in it for them. Is it sinking in? Those are the 3 things that you really want to have in your bio. So the who you are is going to be more of, I mean, it could be more your mission. It could be your passion. It could be the purpose for your business. And then the what you do is your product or service, right? Like what problem do you solve? What industry do you serve? What is your target audience that you are helping? So the who you are is a bit more of the personal side. It's a bit more of the passion, the purpose, the mission, the goal, whatever it is that defines who you are as a person, as a brand, as a company. The what you do is the tactical, the practical, the solution you solve, the thing your product does, that sort of thing. And then the what's in it for them is a little bit more vague. So the what's in it for them could be something as simple as, you know, follow for weekly tips. It could be, you know, click link to get your free download. Like it could be a call to action as your, you know, what's in it for them, where you actually want them to go to your link in bio. It could be that you want them to have something to do with your content. Again, like every week you share tips, you share something that's valuable. It's going to say, oh, if I follow this person, I'm going to get this. I'm going to get this added value in my life. So there's that what's in it for them. It doesn't always have to be that black and white. The what's in it for them could be something more about the what you do. It could be related to here's the problem you solve, and if they follow you, they're going to get solutions to that. Or the product is going to be the what's in it for them. So the what's in it for them is a little bit more vague, but we do want to make sure that it is written with that in mind, right? So it's not about you. We want it to be about you, but we don't want it to be about you. So we want to write that bio for that customer, for that first time visitor. Why should they care? Not what's in it for you, not what matters to you as the brand, but what matters to them as the customer. So we want to put it in that perspective, and that's more of the what's in it for them, less so than the it has to have a call to action or some sort of like, here's exactly what you're going to get from me, but that we're writing it in that way to say why it matters to them, why it's valuable to them, why should they care? If they've just found you in all of the, you know, the webiverse of the world, and they found you, why should they care about you? What's in it for them? That's the key to writing a good bio, is that putting it in that context for those first-time visitors. Because again, once they're following you, once they know you, probably not going to worry too much about what's in it for them. They already know. So who you are, what you do, what's in it for them. Now, we are horrible at writing our own bios. Okay, I don't care. I literally do marketing and communications. Like, this is what I do. I am a writer. You can tell me about your business and I could write you a bio pretty much on the spot. I didn't write my own bio because we're horrible. We cannot write about ourselves unless you are a very small percentage of the population that has a unique ability to remove yourself from your product or service, from your business, and write about it, don't write your own bio. You are going to write it, but you're going to get input from others. So the key here, hold on, a little tea break. The key here is to figure out what is most important in terms of how others would define your brand. So ask your customers, ask your clients, ask your friends, ask your colleagues, ask your spouse, ask your coworkers, ask your employees, whatever it is. Reach out to a handful of other people and say, if you could describe my brand in 3 words, what would those 3 words be? If you could describe my brand in 1 sentence, what would that sentence be? If you could define my brand in terms of what we do, what would that be? Figure out how you want to phrase it. It can be a combination of those things I just said or any one of those things. And ask them to share that information, to share their input, to share their perspective. Because you may find that 4 or 5 people all use a certain verb or a certain adjective or a certain phrase to define your brand that you never would have thought of. And you don't realize that that's how you convey, that that's what people think of your brand. So if that's what everybody else thinks, or if they're your customer, your client, and they're telling you this is why they follow your brand, that is market research. That is telling you what your customers need and want. And that's what we want in your bio for other future customers to find, because they can relate to that, because that's what your customers are telling you your brand is about. So what you want to do then is, like I said, go do that market research. Talk to those friends, families, colleagues, customers, whatever it is. Get some of that input. Start to look for those trends. Is there a word or two that is commonly used by all of them? Is there a phrase or a kind of feeling that they all convey about your brand? Then from that, that's what you're going to use to write your bio. It is really, I realize this can be hard, especially if you're new. If you're, like in this case, Joyce was the one that submitted this question. She's new. She probably doesn't have a ton of clients. She probably doesn't have, a whole brand, kit to go to. And she doesn't have, a ton of colleagues or employees if she's, her own brand. So she doesn't have anybody to turn to. And that's okay. We can start somewhere, but in 6 months, do this exercise again. In a year, do this exercise again. I update my Instagram bio probably once a year, sometimes a little bit more frequently, it depends. But my original bio from years and years ago, long since gone, scrapped it because I wrote it and I realized it was not accurate to kind of what was trying to be conveyed. I had gone on a podcast and the podcast host wrote a bio for me. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is the best bio anybody's ever written for me. And it was in bullet point format. It was great. And I was like, can I steal this and use this like on my Instagram account? And she was like, of course you can. I wrote it from your content. And I was like, great. And so my Instagram bio, probably 5 years ago, maybe even 6 years ago, was the one that she wrote. And I've only ever tweaked it. So I've changed a bullet point. I kind of rearranged maybe the format a little bit, but it's still built off that root that she built for me years ago because it was such a great synopsis and highlighted the things that I wanted to convey in a bio. So once you have that good root, once you have a good solid bio, you may tweak it or update it. Like I said, once a year, you may go in and change a bullet point, or maybe you received some sort of big award, or maybe you've published a book or done something that you want to add to the bio. Absolutely tweak it to add in those accolades or that recognition that defines a little bit more of who you are and also a bit of what you do. Like if you wrote a book, that's part of what you do. You wrote a book. So you can tweak it to include those things as they happen more in real time, but you do want to look at your bio once a year for any tweaks. If you don't need to update it, don't update it. If you want to tweak it, absolutely. So if you have to start on your own, write what you think you can in terms of who you are, what you do, what's in it for them, bullet point format using those 150 characters. If you have a bigger audience, if you have a brand awareness already, reach out to those additional people, customers, colleagues, friends, family, employees, customers, clients, whatever, and get their input on those questions that I recommended to figure out who you are, what you do, what's in it for them type thing, and then write it accordingly. You can change your bio as often as you want. You do not need to be stuck with whatever you put in there. But to wrap it up, I want to make sure, and this is part of the reason why you want to talk to your customers, clients, colleagues, and everybody else, your bio needs to be written for search. Instagram now does keyword search, and that keyword search component factors in your bio. So what it's doing is it's looking at each of your individual pieces of content to determine what's going to show up in search. So if someone goes in searching for Instagram tips, and if my content, my individual post is clearly about an Instagram tip, that's likely to show up in the search. But Instagram's also going to go look at the bio, and they're going to go look and see on the bio what is in there in terms of what you normally talk about. So I always say the example, I talk about Instagram. This is what I talk about. If I share a video or a photo of me and my daughter at the zoo, and I have the content that says San Diego Zoo, and I've got San Diego Zoo hashtags, I've got all this stuff in my content that says that post is clearly about the San Diego Zoo, that's great. And if someone goes to Instagram searching for San Diego Zoo, Instagram's going to look at that individual post that I shared about the San Diego Zoo and go, okay, this post is clearly about it, but what is her content typically about? Is my content typically about kids' activities and family activities and things to do in San Diego? No, my content is typically about Instagram tips. So my content as a whole, my brand is not typically about things related to the San Diego Zoo or activities, family activities, and that sort of thing. So my post, while it may appear in those search results, it's not going to appear at the top of the feed, the top of the search results. It's going to show up lower because my content in general is not about that topic. Now, if somebody goes and looks for an Instagram tip, and I've got an Instagram post, it's all about Instagram tips, and then Instagram looks at my bio and says, yep, she talks a lot about Instagram, that post is more likely to show up at the top of Instagram search because my whole content strategy, everything about me, is about Instagram related tips. So it's more likely to rank higher in those search results. So when you're writing your bio, you want to write it with this in mind. You want to write it with the keywords that your audience is looking for that are relevant to what your audience is looking for in terms of topics. We're not keyword stuffing, okay? This is not SEO 2000. This is, not even Google 2024. We don't do long tail keywords on Instagram. But the AI is smart enough to put things together. So like if you are talking about, like if I mentioned social media, Instagram can know Instagram and social media are kind of related. Like I wouldn't have to say I'm an Instagram expert. I could say I'm a social media expert. I'd still show up in searches for Instagram. So, and Christine is popping in here. Love this. Will you be saving this so we can watch? Oh, of course I am. I'm not wasting this good content, girl. Yes, the replay will go up as soon as we end the live broadcast. The replay will be up here on my profile so that you can come and watch the entire episode from today. We're talking about the question submitted by Joyce, which was she's new to Instagram and wanted to know how to write a good bio. So this episode went a little longer than I thought, but it's fun. We're giving you all the good stuff. So when you're writing that bio, we want to make sure that you're putting in the words that your audience is looking for. If someone's going to go to search, what are they searching for? If you are a photographer, they're not looking for photography. They're looking for San Diego wedding photographer. They're looking for San Diego photographer. They're looking for portrait photographer. What are they looking for? And how can you put those relative keywords into that bio, your bullet points of who you are, what you do, what's in it for them, right? So we want to make sure that we're putting that content in those right keywords, not keyword stuffing, but relevant keywords. And again, the AI is smart enough to figure out what is relationally connected. So it doesn't have to be keyword stuffing, but what is your content typically about? What is your brand typically about? Making sure you're putting those keywords in there so that it's optimizing it for the search so that people are more likely to find you in search, so that when they find that content, they go and look at that post, they're like, hey, this was really helpful. Let me go to their profile. They come over to your profile, and now they're looking at that profile that you just wrote optimized for that first time visitor that makes them go, yes, absolutely, I want to know more. Follow, message, check your DMs, whatever it is, go to the link in bio. They're going to then follow through on these things based on having written that 150 characters of who you are, what you do, what's in it for them. Sofa Spectrum said, this makes total sense, especially when everyone is trying to create space on IG. Thank you. You are so welcome. I just want to point out as we wrap up this part of Tea Tactics and Tenacity today, I've got my teacup, that this is why, like I said, this episode went a little bit longer than I thought. We haven't even got to tenacity yet. But here's the thing. So many people don't understand how important the bio is. And we throw up a few things, right? You throw up a couple bullet points, or you throw up a generic, tagline about your business, and you go, oh, there's our bio. The bio is critical to success, to growth, to conversions, to building a business, to getting leads, conversions, sales, all these things. It really is important that you have that good, strong bio, because again, it all ties back from the search component to those first-time visitors, to people coming and actually following you and deciding they want to follow you, deciding they want to work with you. That bio can make the difference between a new customer or losing them to your competitor. It is really important that we put the time and effort into building a good, strong bio. For all the strategy that goes into Instagram, it all ties back in some way to the bio. That's not to say that you have to freak out about the pressure on this. Do what you have now, make it a little bit better. 6 months, make it a little bit better. But take the things we talked about in this episode, work with your team, reach out to some people, get some help on those keywords, those phrases, those words that people typically use to describe your brand. Rewrite your bio, reassess it again in 6 months. Don't neglect your bio. It is so important to your overall strategy, and it can make a big difference in actually getting those clients and conversions and leads and everything else, no matter what industry you are in. Whew, that was a lot, right? So thank you for hanging out with me for this. We're still going to get to tenacity because, again, being St. Patrick's Day, we're going to talk about making your own luck in business. What better time to talk about luck than on lucky St. Patrick's Day? This is Tea Tactics and Tenacity. Sofa Spectrum in all caps. Don't neglect your bio. Yes! If you get anything from this, don't neglect your bio. Please don't. This is Tea Tactics and Tenacity. Every week we answer a question submitted by a viewer just like you. Today's question was how to write a good bio, submitted by Joyce. So if you have a question, if there's something you want me to answer on an episode just like this, feel free to leave a DM in my inbox with a topic. Feel free to leave a comment here on the video with a topic that you would like to be addressed in the future. Shoot me an email, track me down anywhere on the interwebs, and let me know what topics you would like me to answer. If you have a question that's never been answered, that you've tried Googling and you can't get the answer to it, let me answer it for you. There is very few things that you can trip me up on when it comes to Instagram. If I don't know the answer, I will find it, even if it means testing it to figure out the answer. So feel free to let me know how I can answer a question for you that's going to make your strategy more successful. That's also what we cover in Profit Your Profile, which is my membership community dedicated to Instagram marketing, but we cover all sorts of marketing. But we do office hours every month, and it's usually small group, sometimes it's only one person. I've had people get private lessons basically because they're the only person who shows up for office hours. But it's usually anywhere from a small handful of people that show up. We go round robin style and we answer any questions you have about Instagram. It's an hour to pick my brain every single month. The members love it. Office hours is my favorite part of Profit Your Profile because we get to just literally do this, but it's live on Zoom. So you get to literally come on camera if you want to, or you can stay off camera, but ask me your questions. We answer them. We brainstorm as a team with everybody, all the members who are in the membership for the office hours, and go through and talk through things just like this. Like, what should I be doing? We do 2 live training sessions every month. This month, we're in March, we had Brooke Sellis come in for an amazing training session, and she talked about social listening. And so she talked about social listening as a whole, internet, websites, all social media type things. I'm doing the training session this week about social listening on Instagram. So every month we have a different topic, and we have a guest expert every month, plus my training every month to break down a topic that matters to you. If you want to find out more about Profit Your Profile and get in on this training, then by all means, go to profityourprofile.com or go to the link in my bio here on Instagram. All right, so Christine said, how people describe your brand. Yes, heard that several times at social media marketing world, especially with hashtags. So hard to remember. I need to put a sign up on my desk. You know, sticky notes are very handy. I got lots of sticky notes on my desk to remind me of things. Sometimes I then forget them because I look at the sticky notes too often. But yes, Christine, that is a great thing. And like you said, we hear this so much, how people describe our brand. Because what we think we're putting out there, like I use words to describe how I convey stuff, and other people describe my brand. I'm like, really? Like, that's what you think of me? And sometimes it's not so great, but usually it's way more flattering, or it's a totally different like adjective to describe my personality than what I would use. But I'm like, okay, if enough people are saying that about me, then that's clearly what I convey. That's clearly what resonates with them. And if that makes them love me, great. Let's embrace that. So you need to know how other people describe your brand so you can connect with the right people as a result. All right, so hello to everybody that's popping in. It's so great to see so many of you. If you're popping in late, we did talk about how to set up a good Instagram bio. That was the topic of today's episode. Now we're going to talk really quickly about tenacity, and because it's St. Patrick's Day, we're going to talk about making your own luck. Because, oh my gosh, I do not know how many times I have been told, Jen, you're so lucky you have this. Jen, you're so lucky you got that. And I'm like, bitch, please. That ain't luck. That is a whole lot of hard work. Yes, there is some component of being in the right place at the right time. There is some component of, the right connection to the right person. Absolutely. There is some universe, some faith, some, help along the way that puts the right people in the right places, connects you with the right people, puts you with the right opportunities. But you still have to capitalize on those opportunities. You still need to build those relationships. You still need to show up and do the damn work. Sofa Spectrum saying it's called work. Abso-freaking-lutely. When someone tells me I'm lucky, I'm always like, nope, not lucky. I worked really damn hard for that luck. And it's really important that you remember this because, again, there's so many ways where you happen to be at the right place. Like you happen to, go to a conference and you choose this table instead of that table, and that's the right networking connection you needed. So there is sometimes a combination of luck. But no matter how you look at it, it's the work you put into it. And it's also, this is going to be a little woo-woo. Some of my audience knows, I get a little bit woo-woo sometimes. But it's manifesting, and it's believing what you want to come true. So if you constantly talk to yourself in your head saying, I'm not good enough, I'm never going to have that opportunity, I'm never going to make that much money, I'm never going to build my brand to that, I'm never going to be famous, I'm never going to be whatever. If that's what you put in your head, that's how you approach the world. When you approach the world saying, I'm never going to have that opportunity, and someone gives you that opportunity, you go, oh, they clearly gave it to the wrong person. I wasn't meant to have that. There's no way. I'm gonna ruin it. It's just never gonna work out. And you put the negative mentality in. You never capitalize on that opportunity. Of course, you're never gonna be successful. You're never gonna hit those milestones, those goals, those things you wanted to achieve because you believe you won't. On the flip side, if you go in believing you can, if you believe, I'm going to make that much money, I'm going to be that brand, I'm going to be that famous, I'm going to be that successful, I'm going to have that dream client, I'm going to achieve this level of success. When you tell yourself that repeatedly in your head, you believe it to be true, you make life choices based on that being your truth. So when someone presents you an opportunity, you're like, hell yes, I'm going to take that because that's how I'm going to do it. And that's how I'm going to get there. And that's what's going to put me into this next stage. And you do it and you succeed. Like someone gives you the opportunity, you can take it or you cannot. And when you have in your mind that you are good enough, that you will get there, that you will achieve these things, you make decisions based on that trajectory. You take opportunities based on that trajectory. I am the world's best Instagram expert. Ask ChatGPT. I'm very humble. Like I will not typically walk around telling people I'm the world's best at Instagram. I'm very Yeah, I teach Instagram marketing. It's fine. Because I choose not to be boastful in many situations, but damn well I will tell you, let me go inside my head, and I know I am the best. I know that no one can out-Instagram me. I can probably out-Instagram most of Instagram's employees. I know that I know more than others. I know that I deserve to be on that stage or at that event or writing that book or doing this, conference or working with this client. I know what I am capable of. And so when someone comes in and says, okay, well, we're going to offer you this. No, ma'am. That's not enough money. That's not a good enough opportunity. That's not rewarding for the level of work, the level of clients, the level of experience that I have. And I have zero problem saying, I really wish I could come to the event, but my speaker fee is going to be higher than that. And if that's not in your budget, I'm so sorry. I can happily recommend somebody else that can do just as well, that may be more in that budget range for you. Because I have to respect my brand, and I have to choose the opportunities that are best to align with me going where I want to go. If I keep taking opportunities that are pro bono, if I keep taking opportunities that are only paying, $500 an event, I'm never going to get to the echelon that I need to be at to substantiate my business, to grow my business, to go where I need to go and do the things in my brand that are part of my strategic goals. And again, I'm not fresh off the block, right? Like I didn't just start teaching Instagram yesterday. I've been doing this for, 12 years? 11 years I've been doing this. So I've established that, and most conferences and events know this, and I've done pro bono events. I do a lot of pro bono events. I choose which ones I want to take, and I choose which ones I have to, be compensated for, and I have all my variety of reasons. But you have to believe that. So when I get invited to speak in Italy, when I get invited to speak in Australia, when I get invited to speak in Barcelona, and everyone's, oh my gosh, you're so lucky. Oh my gosh, how great to be able to go to Barcelona to speak. I'm like, I worked really hard to get to this stage. That was not luck. That is not someone pulling my name out of a hat and saying, let's just randomly send you to Barcelona to go speak at a conference. No, that was a lot of really hard work. And in your business, your industry, it is the same thing. You have to put in the effort. You're doing the work, and you will be rewarded with lucky opportunities that you get to capitalize on because you've done the work to get you there. Ryan, the crazy movie guy, said, I really needed to hear that because that's what's been going on in my mind lately. Well, I love serendipitous moments like this. I love when people tune in and it's like, they're like, that was the message I needed to hear. Those are some of those universe, faith, God, angels type situations, some of those serendipitous moments. But now it is your opportunity to move forward with that knowledge and everything that you need to manifest, right? It's putting the right mentality in your mind. It's putting the belief in your mind of where you want to go. You will make decisions accordingly. And in whatever aspect of your life, whether it's your personal life, whether it's your family life, whether it's your relationships, friendships, romantic relationships, spouse, whatever it is, all of these play into, as well as the business side, not just luck, but hard work. Side note related, I've had a few people tell me, they're like, because my boyfriend is wonderful. I'm very lucky. And people tell me that I'm very lucky. And I'm like, that's not luck. I'm mid-40s. I've put in a lifetime of experience and work and divorce and learning experiences and not settling for anything less than what I knew would be the ideal relationship for me. And he's not perfect. I'm not perfect, but we are wonderful together. And it is not luck. It is making the right decisions. It's putting in the work. It's putting in the effort. It's showing up and doing what you want in a relationship, choosing the person you want in a relationship and not settling. And that's how you get lucky. It is absolutely doing the work. So I want to wrap it up with that on this happy St. Patrick's Day to remind you that it's not necessarily about the luck. It's about the work. It's about the effort. It's about your belief, and it's about what you know is possible for you that brings you all the luck in the world. So thank you for hanging out with me today. I know this episode went a little bit longer than usual. Thank you to everybody who stayed on. If you came in late, we talked the first half of the show about how to write a good Instagram bio. That was our tactics. Our tenacity was about making your own luck in business and life. Thank you for hanging out with us today on Tea Tactics and Tenacity. I will see you again next week with another question submitted by a viewer just like you. If you have a question you want answered, if there's something I can answer for you in the world of Instagram that would make your strategy more successful, leave a comment here on this video, send me a DM, send me an email, send a carrier pigeon, whatever you need to get me that list of questions that you want answered, and I would be happy to add that to my list to answer in a future episode of Tea Tactics and Tenacity. Have a wonderful St. Patrick's Day. Have a wonderful Sunday. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Have a wonderfully productive, amazing week ahead. Bye, everybody.